Thank you so much for that, Justin. This is definitely, as Justin said, a big one. A Whalelord-sized match up on the stage right now. Both players being 2-1, desperately trying to make top cut for numerous reasons.
Right, and we see Jacob, he said that this is his first nationals.
First nationals,
and he had to go up against the current #1 player in championship point ranking, Wolfe. Looking at the championship point spread, I believe Jacob came in with just a handful of championship points, so he definitely needs a deep run right here. And it's just so unfortunate. You've made it to day 2 of nationals, and then in round 3, where you've already lost 1, you don't want to lose any more, just in case. You don't want to bubble out of the top cut, the top 8 here. So now Wolfe is in your road to possibly making top cut.
Definitely, and I mean, just like Wolfe said, you don't want to count a player out. Experience, of course, is extremely, extremely important in this game. But this is Jacob's first time attending nationals, and he's up here on the main stage, day 2 of Swiss, trying to make his way. So Wolfe's being smart, doesn't want to. Something he's always told me is that he never wants to get too overconfident. Especially, I mean, he said he doesn't really feel too confident about his team in any way.
Yeah, and that's definitely a thing that Wolfe should know. You can never take a player out of the picture. I mean, Jacob's made it to day 2.
Definitely.
He's made it to day 2. He is currently 2-1. That means he's taken 2 games off really, really good players. Every player here in day 2 is just absolutely fantastic.
It's a fantastic trainer. We're going to see Jacob's team on the screen. It is a Venusaur, Hydreigon, Charizard, Aegislash, Azumarill, and Landorus. And on Wolfe's side, we did see his team on stream yesterday, but he's got a Milotic, Kangaskhan, Thundurus, Landorus, Heatran, and Amoonguss. So definitely 2 powerful teams, like we just said. Both players are here on day 2 of Swiss. Round 4, both just really trying to not see a loss, but unfortunately one of them will, and we're going to hop right into this game.
Yeah, and one thing that Jacob's actually bringing that you don't see too much anymore is that Charizard Venusaur core. It was really popular in the beginning of last season, but nowadays people opt for either just Charizard or just Venusaur. So interesting to see here. It could come down to a situation where Charizard Mega Evolves and has Venusaur just stay in with Chlorophyll and not Mega Evolve, instead go for really fast leap powers or really fast attacks.
Yeah, double Mega is always, it's not as mind gamey as a Sword and Blade, of course, but it's still a mind game. You don't know which one is going to Mega Evolve. We do see that Jacob does lead with the Hydreigon and the Landorus. Unfortunately for him, because Wolfe gets that competitive boost with the Milotic and the Kangaskhan.
Yeah, and at the same time, Kangaskhan currently has 1 stage of reduced attack, but at the same time, Milotic has plus 2 stages of increased special attack, so I'm not sure where you want to be in that situation. You do weaken that Kangaskhan, but also you boost that Milotic, which is going to be doing a pretty good amount of damage to both Landorus and Hydreigon right now.
Yeah, I would not want to be in Jacob's shoes, because Milotic often carries moves such as Icy Wind, which is super effective to both of Jacob's Pokemon right now, and that's just a tough spot to be in, especially at +2 special attack.
Yeah, and that was a good play right there from Wolfey to just lead that Milotic. A lot of players, they do enjoy leading off with those Landoruses. To go for the Intimidate's first turn, it's always a good thing to start off the game with Pokemon that are intimidated on your side, or on the opposing side, right?
Definitely.
And Wolfey took advantage of that by switching in that Milotic first turn.
Definitely, and we're going to see Wolfey take back that Kangaskhan that did have its attack stat reduced and bring in his own Landers to intimidate the Landers on the other side of the field. Of course, Hydreigon doesn't mind it too much being intimidated, and Jacob's actually going to withdraw his Landers after being intimidated, so speed really coming at the fact that we saw the Kangaskhan switch out first before the Landers, so we can pretty much know that Landers is not Choice Scarf. Bringing in the Aegislash, Milotic's just going to go ahead and protect, and a Draco Meteor is going to miss the Landorus.
And that is so unfortunate right there for Jacob. I mean, he could have come up pretty good that turn, Milotic protecting there, wanted to see what Hydreigon and the Landorus on Jacob's side was going to do, but at the same time, Jacob didn't want to take an Ice Beam into that Landorus slot, so he immediately switched to that Aegislash, which is a good switch because Aegislash resists it. Wolfey right there deciding to switch out that Kangaskhan into Landorus to, we see exactly what he's doing right here.
We're going to see the Landorus is going to go for the superpower, just barely missed the knockout on that Hydreigon. We still don't know what item that Hydreigon is holding, because that Draco Meteor is going to come through right now, and it is going to connect the second time around. It's going to target down the Milotic. Is it going to be able to pick up the knockout? It's going to depend on a few things, but Milotic is a very fat Pokemon, not going to be able to get knocked out by that Draco Meteor. It's going to munch away on that Citrus Berry, and we're going to see who it's going to go for. It's going to opt to go for a Scald. A +2 Scald is going to hurt, and it's going to finish up, knock out that Hydreigon.
It was actually a Moringa Berry.
It was a Moringa Berry?
Yeah, that's going to boost its special defense by 1 stage.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so used to seeing things munch on citruses. I apologize for that. A Moringa Berry. Wow, and a Shadow Ball is going to come through and connect on the Milotic, but it looks like that berry doesn't cut it, and it's going to go down.
Yeah, and that was a lot of damage right there from that Hydreigon. We do see that Hydreigon get knocked out, but it did its job. It
Definitely.
weakened Milotic to get it down, and Milotic was really a big threat right there at 2 stages of increased special attack, right? So Milotic is a very especially bulky Pokemon. Wolfey right there hoping to take some special attacks and then boost it to make it even harder to deal with.
Definitely.
So getting that Milotic out of the way, that's a good thing.
Targeting down the thing is a threat because Milotic is a very bulky Pokemon, and then of course because of that Intimidate activating its competitive, it made it an offensive threat,
Right.
With a lot of options under its belt. So we're going to see right now both players having to make some tough decisions.
And we do see Kangaskhan come in right now. Kangaskhan can provide fake out support and possibly fake out that Landers. Aegislash kind of enjoys this matchup right now with Kangaskhan because Kangaskhan only has really Sucker Punch in order to be able to hit that Aegislash. So as long as Aegislash can play safely around it, it can get around the Kangaskhan. And Landers right now, I believe it is Choice Scarfed. It moved before that Hydreigon. So
Yes.
it's Choice Scarf Landers, and it's locked into Superpower. So Aegislash right now in pretty good position.
Yeah, and because of that being locked in Superpower, Wolf has to switch it out in favor of his Heatran here. We're going to see the Aegislash is also going to switch out while in Blade form, so not going to try throwing up a King Shield. No mind games here, just going to get a safe switch in into his, a switch in into his Venusaur. We don't know how safe it is just yet, but now that the Heatran's out on the field, it doesn't look too good for Venusaur unless it opts to Mega Evolve and gain that Dick Fat ability and have no longer a weakness, true weakness to fire. So Kangaskhan's going to opt to just go for the Protect. Most of the times when you see a Kangaskhan go for Protect, it's not actually going to run the Fake Out. I'm not going to call it just yet, but usually there's only room for either Fake Out or Protect, so a moot turn there.
Yeah, and even though no damage was dealt that turn, you have Heatran coming in, you also have Venusaur coming in right there too, and that was actually a really safe switch right there from Jacob to get that Venusaur in safely because that Aegislash slot, nothing was going to hit it.
Yep.
Wolfey's not going to try to target down with the Superpower, and Kangaskhan really, why would it double it in that slot unless it was going for some predictions right there? So safe switch right there from Jacob. We do see that Venusaur in right now, and since we haven't seen Charizard yet, that probably means that this Venusaur is going to be able to Mega and, kind of be able to deal with that Heatran a little bit better. Venusaur's still not going to have anything to hit that Heatran with, I believe, unless it has a,
hidden
ground
power
type running around.
Yeah, we're going to see because of that, Heatran is going to switch out for the Landers. We're going to find out right now. But hopefully, if that Venusaur is going to Mega Evolve, it's going to grow some trees on its back, which provided the coverage it needs. Trees apparently resist fire and ice when there's more of them on top of a dinosaur, so really cool. Kangaskhan's going to go for the return, targeting down the Landers here, but it's not going to do too much. Going to do just about 40% HP to that Landers, and Landers is going to go for the Superpower, targeting down that Landers. Good switch in by Wolf, being able to take that just fine. Didn't want to stay in there, got the Intimidate off, further reducing that damage. We're going to see Sleep Powder misses the Landorus.
So we see right there, Landorus was definitely trying to target down that Heatran slot. Good switch right there from Wolfey to realize the situation. Heatran was not safe there.
Yes.
Heatran had to get out of there, otherwise, you don't want to lose Pokemon that fast. You don't want to switch in Heatran just to have it knocked out instantly. We see Kangaskhan do a pretty good amount of damage to that Landorus, even though it is intimidated. And, Landorus is, they're pretty bulky, so this one might be a bit bulkier, might be a different item than Choice Scarf because we saw that Kangaskhan move first, either Assault Vest or Choice Banded. Venusaur is still sitting pretty out there, not been damaged yet. Can go for Sleep Powers. That's a big threat right there.
Definitely, Sleep Powder is such a huge threat. Putting a Pokemon to sleep cripples it entirely for at least one turn. We're going to see Landers, after getting those stat drops, switch out into the Aegislash. Kangaskhan's just going to go for a safe Protect here, not wanting to take any damage or be put to sleep. The Earthquake's going to come through on that Aegislash switch, and it's going to do a good amount of damage, being super effective. Even in Shield form, it's still going to do over 50% to it, and does a sizable amount to the Venusaur because it is neutral thanks to the Poison typing, although Grass does resist ground type moves. The weakness policy is going to activate on Jacob's side, and that is definitely scary. We're going to see a Giga Drain fire off and do a huge amount of damage to Landorus.
Yeah, and that puts Jacob in a pretty decent position right now. You have 2 stages of increased special attack and attack on that Aegislash, and right now this Landorus is going to be knocked out from another Giga Drain from this Venusaur. I mean, this Venusaur is hitting pretty hard, so I would expect it to not be as bulky as a lot of players expect it to be. If somehow Jacob can get rid of that Landorus on Wolfey's side, that's going to open up the opportunity for Aegislash. I mean, Aegislash is heavily weakened. Kangaskhan can threaten with a Sucker Punch onto that Aegislash slot if Aegislash decides to go on the offensive, so Jacob definitely has to be careful there. He's not yet out of the woods, but he's not in the worst of positions. It's still anybody's game.
I think it's going to come down to straight up prediction games. We're going to see the Landorus switch out here in favor of the Heatran coming in on Wolfey's side. It's going to be tough, like you said. The Sucker Punch is there to threaten the Aegislash. The King Shield is also a thing to protect from Earthquake. Maybe Venusaur wanted to target down that slot and get rid of the Landorus. We're going to see the Aegislash does in fact go for that King Shield. Kangaskhan go for the Sucker Punch. It does fail, and a Sleep Powder onto the Kangaskhan, putting it to sleep, so that Sucker Punch is no longer a threat for this turn.
Yeah, and good play right there from Wolfey to switch out that Landers, to keep it in the back just in case. Heat Rain coming in is also pretty safe too. Right now, that Kangaskhan is asleep. We saw it go for that sucker punch to your right. That was a safe play, possibly pick up a knockout on the Angel Slash if it did decide to go into the offensive, protecting that Heat Ran switch in. So good call right there from Wolfey. But right now, we do have a sleeping Kangaskhan, and one thing that Venusaur probably wants to try to do right now is put that Heat Ran to sleep too, because Heat Ran's going to be able to threaten that Aegis Slash, and Aegis Slash,
We see the wide guard so that there can't be any Heat Wave nonsense going on from this Heat Train, if that's what, in fact, Wolfey decided to do, or did he predict that? We're going to see Kangaskhan is still asleep, and Heat Ran goes for the substitute on the wide guard, so no sleeping today, the sleep powder. Heat Ran avoids the attack. That stuffed animal just completely distracted Venusaur. It's fantastic. Beautiful play by Wolfey.
That was a bold play right there
really
from Jacob's side. But Wolfey punishes that wide guard with the substitute, and now Heat Rain hiding behind the substitute is not one thing that you want to see, because I actually think that substitute Heat Ran is probably one of Wolfey's signature Pokemon. I mean, he's brought it so many times, and he protects Heat Ran so well. He reads the opportunities to get that Heat Ran behind a substitute, and he did it right there. He's oh man, just hiding behind a substitute now can't be put to sleep, and Aegis Slash has spent turns to try to break that substitute.
That was so perfect. We're going to see Kangaskhan does wake up and just decide to defend its young, hitting that Venusaur with a return. Heat Wave is going to come through from the Heat Ran. Will it be enough to pick up the knockout on the Aegis Slash in shield form? It is going to pick up the knockout and do a sizable amount of damage despite the thick fat, and it gets the burn on the Venusaur. Oh my goodness, that secondary effect is huge. We're going to see the Venusaur does opt to go for the Sludge Bomb on the Kangaskhan. Going to be able to do a lot of damage. Like you said, this doesn't seem like a bulky Venusaur. It seems a bit more offensive to me.
Yeah, and we see Heat Ran being able to put it in work, going for that Heat Wave right there. Jacob right now not sure exactly what Wolfey's going to do with that Heat Ran. Opted to not go for that wide guard, which would have helped out that turn.
Yeah.
So great mind games going on right now as we see Landers come in and intimidate Kangaskhan.
I think what happens is when you get played once and you go for the wide guard and you get predicted, it's like, I don't want to go for that wide guard again and get played again. Like, you get played once, all right, shame on my opponent, they did me dirty, but you fool me twice.
Right, and you've revealed the wide guard, so
yes.
Wolfey was probably going to be more careful as we see Kangaskhan go for that hit.
Kangaskhan goes for the hit and gets a critical hit. It's a crit on the Landers. Oh my goodness, another Heat Wave is going to go ahead, and I think Wolfey just completely took the momentum of this game, put it in his pocket, and he's just sitting comfy right now.
Yeah, and oh man, Wolfey played that exceptionally well. I mean, Jacob does...
Back crits, are you kidding me? That's salt right there. Can we not do unnecessary crits? Calm down, Wolfey.
Going back to it, I mean, Jacob has the tools to take it. I mean, Venusaur can do work. It's just unfortunate that Heat Ran got up that substitute. He was in position to do a lot of work. He picked up the first knockout with that Milotic. Going for the Draco Meteor and the other hit, it
was a Shadow Ball from
Shadow Ball from the Aegis Slash, right? To pick up the knockout on that Milotic, which probably would have sat there and picked up a lot of boost, or just sat there recovering off any damage that it would take.
It does have that Moringa Berry, so it did need to get doubled up into. And that Draco Meteor did do a lot. We did see that Landers' Choice Scarf did outspeed, so we know that Hydreigon has no chance. Most likely not Choice Scarf, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Specs, because we didn't see a Life Orb on there, and it did dish out a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Jacob does have the pieces. He just has to adjust a little bit more accordingly, and has to play a little bit better. He has to get over that edge on Wolfey. Don't let that Heat Ran set up a substitute. That's what Jacob has to do.
It was the one turn. Sometimes that happens. He made the prediction. Of it's going to be Heat Wave.
It was still a good call. It was a good call.
It was one of the two calls. You know what I mean? It's not like it wasn't like, oh wow, that call was out of left field. It was a good call, but unfortunately, Wolfey just went for the move that put him in such a good position. As both players are choosing their teams right now. Like you said, I think Jacob really does need to I wouldn't say be a little bit more careful. Be more careful at choosing his moves. Don't give Wolfey those opportunities to gain advantage like that.
Yeah, and one thing that I definitely do want to see Jacob try to do is protect his Hydreigon a lot better.
Yes.
Hydreigon's going to be his offensive powerhouse. You don't want that to get knocked out. Go for one Draco Meteor and then possibly switch it out to reset the special attack stages.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he had missed that first one, so he did only connect with one and get that special attack drop. But then it still went down because the Milotic was there, Milotic was there to dish it out. We're going to see he does lead with Aegis Slash Hydreigon now, and the Landers Kangaskhan is the lead. So Jacob not wanting to lead with Intimidate for the second time in a row, fearing that Milotic.
Yeah, and one thing that Jacob does know now is that Kangaskhan might not have Fake Out, and we've seen Protect.
Yep.
If Jacob can piece it together, he might be able to figure out that he does not have enough room on that Kangaskhan to run both Protect and Fake Out. We do see Landers come in, intimidate, Aegislash, and that Hydreigon, not going to be a big deal. But of course, we saw the superpower from the Landers last game not be able to pick up the knockout on Hydreigon. So it looks like Hydreigon right here is going to be able to go for a very powerful attack if it really wants to. You know, Dragon Meteor onto that Landers should be able to pick up the knockout. Dragon Meteor on that Kangaskhan should be able to pick up the knockout too. And Aegislash right now is sitting pretty. You know, it might take an Earthquake, but that leaves Hydreigon open, right?
Definitely.
It could possibly, you know, Aegislash is really free to attack. Kangaskhan does not have anything that can really hit that Aegislash at all.
I think it's really cool to see, just listening to you and watching these players play. Like the Hydreigon right now, I feel almost the safest move is to Draco Meteor into that Landers slot, because we know that it's choice, and it's either, it didn't switch out now, but it's going, and it's going to switch out with the U-turn. So I was just about to say, it's going to go for the U-turn on the Hydreigon slot, do just about 50%, and get out of there, potentially going after something that Wolfe feels like can take a potential Draco Meteor here.
Has to watch out though. If that Hydreigon went for the Draco Meteor on the Kangaskhan, this turn Hydreigon's going to be faster than that Kangaskhan because you know the speed hasn't adjusted yet for the movement.
Yeah, he is not. Wolfey did not go for the protect because we did see that return first. Kangaskhan outspeeds. He doubles up into the Hydreigon and he's going to be able to pick up the knockout there. No Draco Meteors today. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely huge. That U-turn return combination. All these turns, you got a return and a U-turn. We're going to see Aegislash go for the stance change. Going to go for a flash cannon. I think that it's going to target down the Kangaskhan here. It's going to do a sizable amount of damage, over 50%, bringing it into the yellow. But Jacob is down one Pokemon on turn 1.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, had to protect that Hydreigon a bit more, and Wolfey realized that. Wolfey targeted down that Hydreigon with U-turn and a return. I was surprised to see that Kangaskhan outspeed that Hydreigon. You know, a lot of the Kangaskhan's, you know, they run adamant. That's not a boosting nature for speed. Yes. But it looks like Wolfey is either running the really fast Kangaskhan, or Jacob opted for a modest Hydreigon. So
to boost its special attack instead of boosting its speed.
Right. Unfortunate to see right there as we see Azumarill come in. Azumarill right now, you know, we've seen it earlier on stream with John Hu, so I'm going to be interested to see what this Azumarill can do. Yeah, it has different options.
Yeah, it has so many options. It can be, we saw the belly drum set early on in this tournament yesterday, but we're going to see what this Azumarill wants to do. We're going to see King Shield from the Aegislash and a Protect from the Kangaskhan, I believe. We're going to see the two water types here just going at it. Scald is going to get completely ignored to that King Shield, and a Play Rough into the Milotic is going to do a little under 50%. So Milotic just proving its girth.
Yeah, so I mean that did not 50%. So that Milotic is definitely one of those Milotics that's out to stay. I mean, get the Moringa Berry boost, and you know, invest in that physical bulk and just recover off any damage that I can take. You know, if Intimidators come in, hey, that's even better for you because you get boosts in stages of special attack.
Definitely.
So I don't think that this Azumarill will have that belly drum. That's going to be unfortunate because, you know, you want to be able to get those boosts.
Yeah, you want to see it does come at a cost, of course, 50%, and then if you have the citrus to recover. So maybe he's not running a citrus barrier. We're going to see Kangaskhan switch out for the Heatran. Then we're going to see that recovery you were just talking about, so that Milotic can kind of stick around here, just going to be able to take moves. And Azumarill goes for the Ice Punch on that Heatran, so a beautiful, beautiful switch in by Wolfey. And then we're going to see the Aegislash once again switch into Sword form, Blade form, go ahead and use a Flash Cannon. No matter which Pokemon it's resisted right now, so he targeted down. The Heatran slot is just going to be able to take that just fine. So beautiful switch in for Wolfey, although the Azumarill is on the other side of the field.
Yeah, an interesting thing to see, you know, Azumarill go for that Ice Punch, probably expecting a switch right there into a Landers Therian. So a good call right there from Wolfey to switch that Heatran into that slot. I mean,
super dangerous because it could have been going for a Water type move and that would have just done massive damage.
Yeah, it could have gone for an Aqua Jet. Maybe it's running Waterfall. Not exactly sure what this Azumarill is running. You know, usually we probably see the Belly Drum right now if he had the Belly Drum. You know, safe switch right there because, you know, Shadow Ball couldn't target that slot, and instead the Flash Cannon would be coming into that slot too. So Wolfey realizing the situation, you know, he has Milotic now at full health. Heatran switched in for essentially free. You know, Aegislash has to be careful about targeting down that Milotic because, you know, it's going to get the Moringa Berry boost, and Shadow Ball and Flash Cannon, their secondary effects, lowering special defense.
Yep, and that's going to be able to pick up knockouts faster and faster because the special defense is going to counteract.
And competitive.
Oh my gosh, that's always the worst when you get a secondary that you don't actually want because it doesn't work in your favor. We're going to see Heatran does go for that substitute there. The question is Jacob going to let this happen twice? He's going to go for play. If he is going to let this happen twice, so Heatran's going to sit safely behind a substitute. We're going to see the attack drop for the play rough, so competitive is going to boost Milotic's special attack. Oh my goodness, we were just talking.
Commentator's curse.
I'm so sorry, Jacob.
Oh man, how unfortunate is that, you know?
How often do you actually see Play Rough do that? I would say 10%.
Not too often because time, usually when you throw those Play Roughs around, you know, you're doing a lot of damage.
And you're knocking Pokemon out.
Yeah, and you know, my situation with the Shadow Ball and the Flash Cannon, that was a little bit better because special defense dropping, you don't mind that because it's going to be a bit easier to knock out. But having an attack drop,
it's like an intimidate.
Melodic doesn't even care about those attack drops. So that's so unfortunate, and that's going to put Wolfey in such a good position. Melodic at +2 stages of increased special attack, and Heat Ran behind a substitute. Oh man, this is going to be rough.
Not for too much longer. I think the Aqua Jet is going to go ahead and target down that Heat Ran, taking away the substitute, but Heat Ran's going to be able to go for an Earth Power, targeting down the Azumarill. Wolfey just realizes how much power that Bunny can have, so he wants to get rid of it as soon as possible. We're going to see Aegislash go ahead and switch into Blade form, most likely wanting to get rid of that Milotic, and that's exactly why Wolfey protected it.
It has to be careful. Well, like I said, be careful about those Shadow Balls into that Milotic slot. We do see Heat Ran leave its substitute, so Azumarill right now can start doing some work on that Heat Ran, but Wolfey's been playing so well with those switches. He might find a safer switch with whatever Wolfey has in back. I mean, we've seen the Kangaskhan. There is one more Pokemon in back that we haven't seen quite yet, I believe. Or no, the Landorus, that's right.
Yes.
So, definitely.
It's tough because Wolfey is playing very well, but I feel like that Azumarill does put on so much pressure for almost his entire team. Like, it's such a strong Pokemon. Like you said, Play Rough is a move that once you see it come out, it's usually picking up knockouts the first or second time at most because it's just so strong with that huge power boost that Azumarill does have. So Wolfey might not necessarily have a safe switch in, and that's why he's actually just going to stay in here as Azumarill goes for a Protect, because I think the tables have turned a bit. Jacob realizes that Wolfey's going to want to target it down, but it looks like Wolfey's just going to set up another substitute. Milotic's going to recover up, and we noticed that Aegislash did not go for a King Shield, so it's going to be trying to target down something, most likely the Heat Ran at this point because he didn't want that extra safe substitute. Let's see what Jacob made the call. He made the call to go for Milotic. Are we going to see a special defense drop? We're not, but we are going to see that Moringa Berry get eaten up and raise its special defenses even higher. Yeah,
and Wolfey, again, that Heat Ran behind a substitute, that's going to be problematic. Azumarill should have gone on the offensive there, I felt like. Go for an Aqua Jet, at least damage that Heat Ran before it can get up a substitute. We see it going for the Earth Powers. We see it not do too much damage to that Azumarill. I mean, Azumarill could probably take like 2 or 3 more of those Earth Powers.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate to see Jacob not go on the offensive there. We do see the Moringa Berry activate on the Milotic. That's going to make it a bit harder to knock out. You're going to have to double up into it if you're Jacob to go for the Play Rough and another Shadow Ball into it in order to pick up the knockout on the Milotic. And we see exactly how much staying power Milotic has here.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to see the Heat Ran just go ahead and go for the Protect. We've seen that it's been carrying the leftovers, so it just wants to get a free turn of recovering its HP after using that substitute. We're going to see the Aegislash does go on the defensive at this point. We got to remember, we're over halfway done with this match now. We have 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in this timer. We're going to see an Aqua Jet get completely protected by that Heat Ran, and then we're going to see a recover on the Milotic. So I think Wolfey's at a point where he just wants to live. He just wants to live it out. There's 7 minutes. I'm not saying that he's going to run into timer like he did yesterday on stream, but it's an option.
Yeah, and Wolfey's one of those players that plays very meticulously. He thinks about all his win conditions, and a lot of players, they do sometimes forget that the timer is a win condition. So, Wolfey does realize that right now probably, and Milotic's sitting pretty right there with a +1 boost in, special defense. Heat Ran hiding behind substitutes, recovering health from leftovers as Azumarill go for those Aqua Jets. So Wolfey in a really good position right now. Jacob has to find some offense right here.
And we're going to see Aegislash dodge that Heat Wave. That would have been really nice. Now, we did see a burn in the last game on a Heat Wave. Are we going to see that again? Because that would completely cripple. No, we do not. Instead, we're going to see a Scald come through and connect on the Aegislash. That's a +2 Scald right there. That's a +2 special attack thanks to that competitive boost. We're going to see Aegislash does opt to go for a Shadow Ball. Who is he going to target down? Is he still just trying to get rid of this Milotic? No, he decides to go into the Heat Ran. A good option, definitely, because right now it is out of substitute range. Even after leftovers, I think it's going to need to try to protect and gain some HP back.
Yeah, and again, Azumarill with the Aqua Jet, that's going to apply pressure to that Heat Ran right now. So good position, a little bit better position for Jacob. Again, that Milotic is still sitting pretty, he has to find some sort of offense to be able to pick up the knockout. We still haven't seen Jacob's Mega yet. Charizard will not really be doing too much against it. If he brought Venusaur, the Mega Venusaur, that could probably go head-to-head against this Milotic a little bit better than Charizard would.
Definitely. We're going to see Wolfey actually just withdraw that Heat Ran, not wanting to go down. It's going to get Intimidate off on both the Azumarill and the Aegislash. However, of course, Aegislash has shown that it's a special attacker. Although it could actually tech the Shadow Sneak as we've seen before. So who knows if that Intimidate's going to matter. Azumarill actually going to go for the Protect here, wanting to play it safe, knowing that Heat Ran really can't set up substitute anyway. So either Heat Ran was going to protect or was going to switch out. Aegislash is also going to go on the defensive. So Jacob just making a very, very safe turn, and which means Wolfey got his Landers in for free.
Yeah, and right now Jacob's probably just finding the best opportunity to pick up a knockout. Seeing an Ice Punch right there would have been great. That would have been a great switch. Ball's like really, really tough call right there. That would definitely put the ball a little bit better in Jacob's court. To be able to pick up the knockout on that Landers there and switch in. But Jacob's also trying to play it safe too.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. I mean, after seeing how long that Heat Tran, like ice punching a Heat Ran is as gutsy as it gets.
Right.
Like that's a straight up Conkelder guts right there, ice punch. You don't. It's a tough call to make. So I don't blame Jacob for not going for that. Although it looks like he is gonna have to start making some moves to get back in this. Landers is going to go for the U-turn on the A/, not doing much at all because it's not same type attack bonus and it is resisted. So just going to be able to get Landers out of here before taking potentially a super effective hit from that Azumarill. We're not sure what Wolfey's going to switch in. The Heat Tran is very low, so I'd be surprised if he does actually go into the Heat Tran, maybe feeling like it's time for this little guy. He's done what he's had to do. And it's just time to see him go. Milotic's going to go for a Scald. It is going to connect on the Aegis Slash, and it's just going to miss the KO, but it does snag a burn, which puts it on a timer, a very short timer. And the Heat Tran just takes his Ice Punch, no problem. So Wolfey is just outpacing Jacob right now at every turn. We're going to see Aegis Slash go ahead, and it's going to go for the Flash Cannon. Yet again, outpacing. Is Heat Tran going to be able to live this? It is going to live on 1 HP. That is 1 HP it's going to live on. Oh my goodness. My socks just got knocked off. They're gone. They're gone.
That is such an incredible
Someone
switch right there.
Someone find my socks. They're gone.
Jacob was expecting, a switch right there, definitely. Either Lander's going to switch out, or go for a U-turn right there, but could not pick up the hit on the switch at all. Expecting either Kangaskhan to come in, or, oh man, that's just so unfortunate.
This Milotic is just out of control, man. I think she stole my socks, honestly. I think she has at this point. She's taking all these stat boosts. I think she just took them. I don't know what's happening.
4 stages of increased special attack right now for that Milotic. That thing's going to be hitting really hard right now, and Jacob is just against the wall.
He really is. He's really between a rock and a hard place here. Wolfey's just made some excellent predictions, some crazy switches. He's going to switch that Heat Ran out once again to get an Intimidate off. This Azumarill is going to be at -2 now. This is the second time it's going to be intimidated. And of course, Landers is going to get intimidated as well, so it's not going to be hitting as hard as it would have been. But I think right here, I think that Wolfey just put himself in such a good position. We're going to see the Aqua Jet come through, and even at -2, it's a crit. That's what I was going to say. At -2, are we kidding right now? This is serious. The Scald, though, is going to be able to one-hit KO that Landers and take it out. So Wolfey in a 4-1 situation here. Pretty secure.
Yeah, and we see Azumarill right now just going up against 4 Pokemon left on Wolfey's side. Milotic can Scald. Landers there and can just go ahead and go for Rock Slide. He can really hit it with anything right now because Jacob's in such bad position, and that's just unfortunate to see. Definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure on this game. A lot of pressure during this tournament. We're going to see Milotic just go for the Scald, miss the knockout on the Azumarill, and we're going to see the Citrus Berry. I believe it's a Citrus Berry. I should wait from now on. Citrus Berry is going to get popped and is going to recover some HP, and a Play Rough is going to connect. We know that that's not going to pick up a knockout right there. That only does 50 points of damage.
Yeah, and right now, Kangaskhan can just go ahead and go for the return. Milotic can just go ahead and go for the Scald to pick up a knockout on Azumarill. We do see Azumarill go for the last hit, go for a critical hit on that Aqua Jet, but Kangaskhan right here is going to be able to seal the deal, and that should do it.
That's going to be the game. That's going to be 2-0 in Wolfey's favor. Now, this is still, both these trainers have proven themselves to be amazing by being here day 2 of US Nationals. The competition is stiff, and Wolfey just came through with some incredible